Hi everyone, today we're going to look at how to solve multi-step equations that have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So to solve, we have several steps that we need to follow. The first one that we want to do is distribute and combine like terms that are on the left side of the equal sign. Then we want to distribute and combine like terms that are on the right side of the equal sign. Next, we're going to move the variable terms to one side using the inverse operations. And then we're going to move the constant terms to the other side using inverse operations. And then I added in one more step. Our last step is to multiply or divide to isolate that variable. Now all these steps are as needed, so you may not have to do all 5 steps with one problem. You might, but you might not. Alright, so let's take a look at this first example. This first one doesn't have any parentheses, so that means immediately we can skip the distributing part. We can look for like terms on each side. So if I'm looking at the left side, I have no like terms. If I look on the right side, I also have no like terms. So I can skip those first 2 steps. Now I'm going to move my variable terms to one side using inverse operations. So I want to get this a here over with the 5a. So to do that, I'm going to subtract a from both sides. So once I do that, that eliminates that one there. Oops, wrong one. Eliminates that one. And that leaves us with 4a minus 8 equals 8. So 5a minus a is 4a. Bring down the minus 8, bring down that 8. Alright, the next thing I want to do is move my constant terms to the other side. So since my variable terms are now on the left, I now want to move my constant terms over to the right. So I need to take this minus 8 and I need to add 8 to both sides. These cancel out. And now we are left with 4a equals 16. Our last step is to multiply or divide to isolate that variable. So to get a by itself, I now need to divide both sides by 4. Okay, once I've done that, I get an answer of a equals 4. Alright, now if we want to put that into set builder notation, remember it would look like this. So we would put our brackets and then a. I'll go back and put my line in there in a second. Equals 4. And then I could just add my little line in there. Just like that. So that's our answer in set builder. All right, now if we want to check our answer, we write down the original equation, and now we're going to substitute in our answer, 4. So I substitute in 4 everywhere I had a, and now I can work out the left side and I can work out the right side to see if they do actually equal each other. So 5 times 4 is 20 minus 8. So now I'm going to do 20 minus 8, and I'm going to do 4 plus 8. I end up with the same number on each side, 12 equals 12. So that means it checks. We've done it correctly. All right, now I want you to come down. I want you to try these 2 problems and check your answers. Okay, go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, when we come back to class next time, we will go over those. All right, let's come on to the next page. Now this time, we have to do some distributing. Okay? So we have some parentheses, and we happen to have them on both sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to start, whoops. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to start by drawing my line through the equal sign. And I need to take a look at what is it exactly that I'm going to distribute. Well, remember, there is actually a 1 that's sitting right there between that subtraction sign and that parenthesis. And that's what I need to distribute, is that negative 1. The 5 is going to come down. I'm going to distribute the negative 1 to the 2x, and then I'm going to distribute the negative 1 to the positive 1. And then I'm going to come over on this side, I'm going to distribute the 2 to the 4x and the 2 to the negative 3. So when that's all done, we end up with this expression. or this equation here. Remember, when we multiply by a negative number, it changes the signs of everything inside. All right, now I'm going to look for like terms. So on the left side, I've got 5 and I've got -1. So I can combine those together to give me 4. I didn't have any like terms on this side. All right, now I can work on getting my variables together. So I'm going to get my x's over to this side. I like to keep my variables positive. It makes life a little bit easier in the end. So I always will try to move the smaller variable term. So in this case, -2 is definitely smaller than +8. So I added 2 over to this side, which gives me this equation. Okay, so remember, these cancel out. Okay. Now we can get our constants, so the 6 over here with the 4. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And when I do that, those cancel out. And now I'm down to this equation here. And my last step finally is to divide to isolate that variable. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Now if we were to put this into set builder notation, I'm going to flip it around so that it now says x equals 1. And then I put all the other little pieces in there. Okay, all right. That is how you solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides. So now you have 2 more try on your own and then check your answer. You can stop the video now and complete those. I will see you in class next time.